Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to Photoshop. Today we are going to be talking about an introduction to compositing. So with compositing, our goal is to take an environment and we're going to take a photo of an individual from somewhere not in this environment, and we're going to try to make it look like that person was in this environment when the picture was taken. So the first thing we need is to find a background of a place. And there's a couple key points here. We want this to be a high quality image when we download this and put it into our Photoshop application. So say we're trying to find not a misty, like a foggy forest, right? Let's look that up. A good way to find a high quality image is to go over here where it says tools on your Google image search, go to size and hit large. And this will it doesn't always work perfectly, but it will usually filter out a lot of the smaller images. And when you download your image, I want you to click it to open it, two-finger click it, and hit Open Image in New tab. What this is going to do is it will make sure you're downloading the highest quality when you save it. So now we can double-click it again and hit Save Image As. And that'll download this picture in a high quality. Where if you just double-clicked it and hit Save Image As here, it's saving it at this size, and it won't be as large and as high quality of an image. All right, so we have our image. The second thing we need to do is take a picture of a person to put in here. So I've already taken a picture of a person. Let me open up my file finder here. Taking a picture of my friend Andy. I'm going to drag and drop that image into Photoshop. Give it a second to load. There we go. And the next step is we're going to mask out the background here. So I'm going to go to Select, choose Subject. All right, and it looks like Photoshop did a pretty good job. Not perfect, but a pretty good job of selecting the subject of Andy here. And it looks like it captured a couple of things that it wasn't supposed to. I'll fix that later in the mask. So I'm going to click my masking tool under the layers. Nice. And I'm going to go in with my black and white brush to make this mask perfect. All right, so I am at the point here where I feel like I have pretty accurately made a mask around Andy that looks pretty close to flawless. Not perfect, I got some areas with like some white halo around the edge, but you know what? It's pretty darn close to perfect, and I think it's good enough for now, for sure. So the next step is we need to place Andy in an area where it looks like his size makes sense in this environment. So right now it kind of looks like he's floating in the middle of the air, and he looks a little too big for where he is. So I'm going to do Control T, open up this little sizing box here. I'm going to make him a little smaller, and I'm going to click and drag him around to kind of put him in the environment here. Maybe I'll make him a little bigger. Kind of make it look like he's he belongs spatially in the space. All right, and then let's see. The next step is to color match Andy with the environment. Okay, we could go into image and adjustments and adjust the color balance and do it all manually and find like the right color and match like his greens to the greens of the environment. We could do that by hand, but there's actually a tool to do that. And it's called Color Match. So we're going to go up to Image and Adjustments, and we're going to go down to Match color, which is not available to us. Oh no. So we need to actually rasterize the image first, which I forgot to do. There we go. I've rasterized the image. Image adjustments, match color. Beautiful. There we go. And there are 2 steps, or 3 steps in here. The first thing, we're going to change the source box down here to the image that we are using. So this is the image of Andy. It's going to be the only option there. And then the second thing, we need to change the layer to our background layer name. So the layer name is layer 1, and we're going to choose that, layer 1. And what this is doing here is it's replacing the colors of Andy with these colors in the background. And so we want to use these 3 sliders to kind of make it look just right. So fade kind of fades those colors from the original colors to the replaced colors. So I might do it like somewhere right here in the middle. Luminance, it's going to be how bright Andy is to how dark he is. I'm going to put that somewhere right in the middle. And color intensity is kind of how intense the colors are. Like, are they super saturated, or is it like black and white? So I'm going to like turn down the color intensity just a smidge. All right, that looks pretty all right. It kind of looks like his colors match the colors of the environment. And it's not perfect, but it's a lot closer than how it was before. And now the last step is to add a shadow underneath Andy. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my background layer, and I'm going to add a layer in between the background and Andy. And so to do that, I'm going to click the little add layer button right here. It's the little box with a plus sign in it. And that's going to add a layer above my background. And this is just an empty layer. If I hide the other 2, you can see there's nothing in there right now. And what I want to do is I'm going to zoom in to Andy's feet. I'm going to change the color on my color selector over here to black. And then I'm going to use my brush. And there's a couple things we want to do here. We want to make sure our brush size is kind of medium size, big enough to draw a shadow, but not like super big. And we want to turn our hardness all the way down because most shadows borders are pretty soft. And that's all we're going to do for right now. What I'm going to do is I am going to draw a shadow beneath Andy. And it's going to be pretty dark at first, but I'm going to show you how to adjust that later. So I'm going to draw a little shadow underneath Andy as if he's casting a shadow on the ground. And then I'm going to go over to the opacity of the layer, how much we can see through that layer. And I'm going to turn that down. Maybe to like around 30 or 40%. Maybe closer to 30. And that looks pretty good. I might even turn it down a little bit more. And the key here is to match the direction and the intensity of the shadows in the environment. And if you can see, like, there's really no strong shadows in this environment. The direction of the light is coming down from overhead. And again, there's no really strong defined shadows in this environment. So I'm trying to do something similar here with Amy's shadow. So I've added kind of this like bigger drop shadow beneath his body. And then I'm actually going to add another layer, use my brush again, make it a little smaller, and then draw like a darker shadow beneath his shoes to really sell the illusion that the shoes are making contact with the ground and dropping the shadow there as well. And so I'm going to turn the opacity of that one down to something like that. And the shadow is a nice, subtle little touch, but it goes a long way. So let's look at it without the shadow and look at it with the shadow. Let's zoom in. Without the shadow, with the shadow. All right? And that is how you composite a person into an environment.